Qatar is convinced that the future of the region is going to be defined by how these populist Islamist movements are going to fare, and they've associated with the most powerful one. From Qatar's perspective, this makes sense. I mean, the tension between Qatar and Saudi Arabia, or at least the imbalance between those two countries, is such that Qatar has sought to find alliances elsewhere in the region to compensate for its relative weakness in its immediate neighborhood. Sure, in the short term, Qatar has paid a heavy price for it, but it's a very small country, homogeneous population, massive wealth, and it's actually able to take that hit. Over the long term, the question is whether it can fend off, concerted Gulf pressure to drop its alliance with the Muslim Brotherhood, and this is what's happening these days. I mean, we see attempts to reach a compromise between Qatar and the several Gulf states. It seems like Qatar is slowly backing off and has just asked senior Muslim Brotherhood figures to actually leave the country, which was a long demand of Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and others.
Do you want to take the question on the Golan Heights, unless Toby Dodds wants to?
The Golan Heights, after the kidnapping of the Fijian troops and actually the fight that the Filipino troops have put against Syrian rebels, including Jabhat al-Nusra a couple of weeks ago, those troops have retreated to the Israeli side, of the border. I mean, whole Golan Heights is annexed and occupied by Israel, but they've retreated, and this is quite a big change in the operational and strategic picture there. But it doesn't seem like Syrian rebels and Jabhat al-Nusra are interested in a direct confrontation with Israel, at least not at this point. They have a lot to worry about inside Syria. This is probably going to be it will have a delayed impact should there be more chaos in Syria. I mean, in southern Syria, which is relatively less chaotic than the northern and eastern parts of Syria. The question is how the Israelis maintain deterrence there, and I think that the Israelis have a pretty good intelligence and military picture of the Golan Heights, and this is one of the reasons why they kept relatively decent relations with the rebels there, understanding that over time Assad control over this region was going to weaken. But this is an issue to worry about further down the road.